When a student comes to us with a 1300 something score or a low 1400, let's be clear, that's a really good score for the SAT. It's well above average, but that's the maddening spot because it's not good enough to get into the top tier schools. You feel like you need to do more and start panicking, buying prep books and grinding out practice problems. But what if I told you you're just spinning your wheels? At Strategic Test Prep, we have systemized approaches to help students in the 1300s and 1400s go into the 1500s. And in this video today, I'm going to share with you all of our top secrets to help you score that top 1% to 2% goal. Hey guys, I'm Laura Whitmore, founder of Strategic Test Prep. I scored 1590 on the SAT, and I'm really excited to break down my top tips for you in this video to help you get over that plateau and get the score you need to get into your dream school. Before I get into the tips of this video, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. I come out with free content every single week to help you master the SAT. If you don't know where the subscribe button is, it's down below. Go hit it. All right, my very first tip for you is to not randomly study practice problems. You want to find the leaks. We use a test tracker tool to do just that. We take all of our students' data from the Blue Book test they took and input it into this sophisticated spreadsheet so that it will spit out for us exactly where they're going wrong and what we need to fix. Because if we can figure out, oh, they really struggle with boundaries questions on the English side, or they're really struggling with nonlinear functions, then we can drill on those concepts. And that's what I want you to do. You need to be intentional about what you practice and not just practice everything under the sun. You don't have time for that. Once we've identified the leaks, we come up with a prep plan that's comprehensive that covers the leaks, teaches them the new approaches, and then makes them do practice drills so that they can get better at those before we move on to doing full tests, which I'll talk about in a second. If you want our test tracker tool, we have them in both self-paced courses. So it's in the English course and the math course, along with an accompanying video to show you exactly how to use it and leverage it. So you can get either one of our self-paced courses right now with the promo code 50 off at checkout. That'll take $50 off the course for you. I will link up here so you can go check out our courses. All right, my second tip for you, and I already kind of touched on this, you want to, once you find the leaks, set up a prep plan with 3 levers. The first lever is to drill down on your weaker question types. So you can pull questions from the question bank on that specific type that you need to work on, practice as many as you possibly can, and learn from your mistakes. The second lever is to practice timed tests under real testing conditions. So once you've cleaned up your weaknesses and you feel ready to take full tests, you want to take at least 1 full test per week. Depending on how much time you have, you might want to take 2 per week. The key is making sure you review your mistakes after you're done with the test. Don't just accept your score and move on. There are going to be valuable learning opportunities in the ones that you missed. Lever number 3 is to keep an error log of your mistakes. Every single question you get wrong, you should screenshot it and put it into a document to review later. Document why you got it wrong, and make sure a week or 2 out from the test, you go back through the entire log of mistakes and redo them to make sure you understand what the correct answer is and how to get there. All right, tip number 3 is so important to test prep. You want to be able to spot patterns. So when you practice enough questions, start to look for patterns and what answers typically are correct. This is something we do really, really well at my company. We help students recognize patterns so they can get to the answers quicker, so they know what to do quicker. And I'll show you right now what I mean with 4 examples. Okay, here's example 1. It's a grammar question. And when I look at all 4 answer choices, I already know because I've done so many practice questions that the answer is probably D because it's the only one that can separate 2 complete sentences. So on my test, I'm picking D. I'll flag it to come back to, and I'll just check it later to make sure there are actually 2 complete sentences. Feel free to pause the video and just check to see that D is actually the correct answer. All right, on example 2, this is a math question. Anytime I see them talk about real solutions, I know I need to use the discriminant. So from there, I'm just going to go ahead and put in the things that I know. And since there's exactly one real solution, the discriminant is going to equal 0. And then I'm solving for C. So I'm looking for keywords in the question. It tells me exactly what to do on the math. And I'm not spending 20, 30 seconds, a minute trying to figure out how to get started. All right, this next one is a reading passage. So I always like to look at the question first. When I see them asking about the main purpose or main idea of the text, I know that 80% of the time, the answer is going to be in the last sentence. So I'm going to go just read the last sentence and find an answer that matches. So we have these processes have been described in mammals, but Jingnan Huang and his colleagues have recently observed that some behaviors of honeybees, such as foraging, are also motivated by a dopamine-based signaling process. So they've been described in mammals, but these behaviors of honeybees are also motivated by this. So not only does the dopamine-based signaling process happen in mammals, but it can happen in some honeybees. When I go through the answer choices, A, it describes an experimental method of measuring the strength. We're not talking about the method and how they're measuring the strength. I'm getting rid of A. B says it illustrates processes by which certain insects can express how they are feeling. We are not talking about how they're feeling. We are talking about a dopamine-based signaling process, and we're not talking about certain insects. We're talking specifically about the honeybees. So I'm going to get rid of B. C says it summarizes a finding suggesting that some mechanisms in the brains of certain insects, okay, well, I guess in this case, certain insects is the honeybees. So they resemble mechanisms in mammalian brains. That's exactly what this sentence said. They said it's been described in mammals, but they found that the honeybees also have this dopamine-based signaling process. It is a finding, correct? It does resemble mammalian brains, correct? And it's talking about the brains of certain insects, the honeybees. C matches the last sentence exactly. I can spot a pattern, save some time on a reading passage. All right, my last example is another math example. So it says, in the given equation, A and B are positive constants. The product of solutions to the given equation is KAB, where K is a constant. What is the value of K? This is a question that has been recycled over and over. You're not going to like this, but I know the pattern so well. I know the answer is 1 over 63 because I'm going to take the leading term, the A term, and I'm going to just put it, in the denominator under 1. That's the answer. Now, if you want to know how I got there, another key word or phrase in the question that tells me exactly what to do is product of solutions. I know the product of solutions is C over A in a quadratic. So essentially, I'm going to go, okay, C over A equals KAB, and then I'm going to start to solve for K. C is AB, A is 63, and that equals KAB. If I multiply both sides by 63, now I have AB equals 63 KAB. Now I divide by AB on both sides. That leaves me with 1 equals 63K. Then I divide by 63. And there you have it. Those cancel. K is 1 over 63. So however you slice it and dice it, you'll get the right answer quickly because you can spot the patterns. Now, I get it. Sometimes it's hard to recognize patterns on your own. So it is valuable working with a test prep coach for that reason. We grind problems all day. We live, breathe, eat, sleep the test. So if you're interested in working with us, we can definitely help you get from point A to point B quicker than you can do it on your own. I will link up here so you can head to our website and request a consultation. All right, my fourth tip is an execution tip. I want you to sign up for back-to-back tests if you can swing it. So some good options are the August and September test, or the November and December test, or the May and the June test. There are a few reasons why taking 2 tests back-to-back will help you. Reason number 1, the first test can be a practice dry run to help you get the jitters out. It's always hard going into a high-stakes test for the first time. You don't really know what to expect, so it'll make you feel more comfortable the second time you go in there. The second reason is all of the questions on the official test that you take are unreleased. We have noticed, because a tutor sits in on every single SAT on my team, that they tend to recycle and reuse questions. So there's a chance you could see a couple reading passages on your dry run practice test that show up on your actual second attempt as well. And you already have exposure and you're already familiar. So it gives you a huge advantage. The third reason why you'd want to take 2 tests back to back is it just hedges your bets. You could just have an off day. Maybe you didn't get enough sleep the night before. Maybe you're feeling kind of sick the morning of. If you have 2 attempts, it gives you 2 shots at getting a top 1 to 2% score, which is really difficult to do. So you want to give yourself more than one chance if you can. Now, I know registration fees are pretty expensive. So if you can't swing paying for 2 tests, try to take 1 test paid and then a school day SAT. Most schools offer the SAT for free on like a Wednesday. So check with your school counselor and see if you have a school day SAT coming up. All right, guys. So if you're sitting in the 1300s or 1400 ladder and you're trying to push through to the 1500s, let's recap the things you can do. First things first, find your leaks. Then drill your weak question types. Practice full tests under time conditions. Keep an error log and review it ahead of the test. Spot patterns so that you can answer questions more quickly. And make sure you sign up for 2 tests back to back. If you need more practice questions to prep from outside of the College Board question bank, we have an English workbook and a math workbook, and we're giving them away for free. They have unique questions in them that are designed just like those on the SAT. So you can head to our website and subscribe to our newsletter, and we will email you copies of the workbooks. Absolutely free. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Give it a like, give it a comment. Go ahead and share it with your friends. I really appreciate all of you. Until next time, happy prepping.